In memory of the blue shirt, today I'm doing another live video. Long hair cutting. Everybody's asking about like long hair cutting. So we're going long hair cutting. 4 inches. It's been a long time. So 3.5. So first thing we're gonna do is separate right from left. For me, what I like to do if I'm cutting 4 inches of hair off, then I at least want to go in and graduate the back first, knowing that I'm going to cut 4 inches off. Some people would pre-cut the perimeter first, but I know where I want the graduation to sit, so then I just work to the bottom and I'll maintain the length. So I'm going to start at center back with a vertical section. And then what I always like to do is just kind of pick it up and get a judge of what's happening. I've cut hair previously, so I know it's cut short to long. So I want to continue that short to long action. Right? So I'm going to come in and I'm going for my trusty new Artist Series Sandias. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to elevate this section. No over direction, straight up. And I know that we're taking 4 inches of it, so I'm going to take like 2.5 to 3 off the graduation. We don't want the layers super short. So elevating straight up and then wrapping and laying over the head. And then you can see my graduation. I'm going to slide to where that first length is, and then all that hair needs to come off. So I'm going to come in from the underneath, and as I'm working, I'm going to slide my way out. And then you can see that section is cut short to long. Now I'm just going to work within the area of the head. So check this out. Natural falling position. I'm going to find the corner of the head. I'm going to subdivide that corner. I'm going to borrow my guide. Once that corner's been subdivided, I'm going to cut. Since I'm out cutting and I'm over directing, I'm going to cut a big section so that I get a softer line. So I'll comb the section out first before I get the elevation in. And I want to make sure my fingers are centered within that section. So once I'm centered, again, I'm going to elevate up and I'm going to wrap and lay over top of the head. So I'm just using the wide teeth of my comb to really, I don't want too much tension, but really keep the parting clean. And I'll get fine teeth comb in and then switch back to my wide teeth. And then what I'm looking for as I slide out is that initial piece where I started. Once I find that initial piece, again, I'm cutting from the underneath and I'm working short to long. Now that whole corner has been cut, so I'll just subdivide and borrow a little piece of my guide. And now I'll move everything top of the ear. So I've got a little piece of my guide within that section, living to the outside. And now what I like to do is just based on hairline and the area, small area of the head, she's got a small head, which is good, and a lot of hair. So I'm gonna like leave a little insurance out, just diagonally right there behind that ears. That's where that corner is gonna live. Then I'm gonna condense, again, I have my guide within that section, and I'm just gonna condense that section to the middle. When you think about it, the head is curved like this, right? So if I over direct it to the center and cut it, right? Think about the length in the middle, it's gonna get like short to long. So it's gonna give me a nice erratic versus a line that's gonna run around the head. So it's using over direction to create a little texture as well. You got any questions, Giggles?
Not yet.
Excellent.
18 people watching.
Oh, we got 18 people live. So again, first get that elevation in. Now, could you subdivide this and do this in smaller bits? Absolutely. But for me, if I cut a bigger section and it's not so super clean and precise, then my result is a little softer. So again, I'm following natural fall. If you look, there's that section. So it's going to come up and go over. It's not going to digress or over direct side to side. There is some over direction built in, but it's a consistent over direction. So then my section is to my wide teeth, I'm going straight up. And once I'm straight up, I'm going straight over. And I'm gonna find that guide. Once I find the guide, now I'm gonna work short to long. And then we're going to stop at the highest point of the head, or the apex, depending on your verbiage. I'm just going to move this hair forward and just isolate it, and we'll come back and cut the front. So now you can see that the back has been cut, but the ends, again, I'm still going to bring that perimeter up. Here's the other side we haven't cut. You can clearly see that it just looks a little less dense, but we're going to bring that up. But still, I haven't really affected the perimeter. So we're good there. So now from middle, I borrow a little of my guide. I like to just twist the hair that I've already cut up. And now I'll move into this next subsection. Again, find the corner. Flat against where the top of the ear is, flat from the back. There is my corner right here. And then I just subdivide that head into the natural falling position or vertical breakdown. So then this section, my guide is inside of that section. So we'll just over direct this section to get that guide a little bit, and then I'm going to center my hand right in front of that section, just like so. And this section is going to be elevated straight up, and then it's going to wrap and lay on top of the head. So we're here. Straight up, get the fine teeth to clean it up, switch back to the wide, slide, there's my guide. Oh, rhyming, we are rhyming. If you notice, my shear is parallel with the grain of the hair, meaning I'm not chunking into it, and I just pick up where I left off there, just clean that section up. So you can see I'm not like this, I'm very parallel to that section as I work out. So what it does is, I'll give you the Y on this next section. Again, we're going to borrow a little bit of our guide, just from the section that we cut. So I don't take a big section, I just skim just that section, and again I can twist all this together because it's been cut. When you're working with long hair, to clip it, it sometimes is a pain because it's long hair. But if you'll twist it as you work, then what you'll notice is I'm able to see how clean where my section is. Now I take everything top of the ear, same thing again. When in doubt, leave it out. So I'm going to borrow just a bit of that perimeter from this side. That guy's going to go in. I'm using I like using a big fat comb. I broke YS part combs on long hair. So again, if it's long and blonde, it can get a little tangly. So I got my trusty Samuel Villa. So again, no over direction, centered within that section, elevating it straight up. Now I come back in with those fine teeth and just clean that section up. Now I'll switch to the wide teeth, and now that section's coming up and over, natural fall. There's my guide. Boom! And now I'll just condense that section in, and now the back's been cut, so we'll comb this out. So what you'll notice is as I comb that section in, based on the technique, right? I've maintained my perimeter. I'm going to go back in and bring that up. But if you notice, it doesn't really look layered. You don't see marks in it. If I touch that hair, now what you'll notice is I've got some shorter bits within the graduation, right? You can start to see that hair dance a little bit, and the silhouette is soft. So it's one in the graduation, how I'm elevating the hair, and the second is in the technique. So let me give you the technique. Out cutting. Oh, hi, Brayden. So we're gonna work to the front now, the scary part, right? So again, I would want to maintain my corner. I'll go back in at the end and cut the perimeter. So I'm going to borrow a little bit from this side. And I'm going to borrow a little bit from this side. Now I'm going to visually balance them. So if I move this guy over, that's a little big. I'm going to visually, like, if this guy's going to move out of her face, where do I want it to sit? So I'm going to take about this much off. So once I get that guy, I just put my pincher on him, and then I just come right behind. I'm going to, again, cut from the back, just that little bit. So there you can see where he sits here. Now, I want to take this little bit, and I want to balance that little bit, and it's pretty balanced because we have a little chemical and flat iron cut on the side, just a smidge. So now I'm just going to use my comb, balance that guy up, and just I'll keep low elevation to firm him up so I can see him. But watch, when I hold this section out, you can see that this side is longer just because of the distance it travels. Over direction, side part, right? Here's my guy. Now we're going to take everything top of the ear. I'm just going to comb this hair down into natural fall. And I'm going to subdivide. I'm using the corners for this long haircut. So I'm going to subdivide that corner where that hair lives. It's got a strong part. So I want to find that part. Right? Now if you'll notice, this hair lives right here. So when I cut it, I want to take it over there and cut it. Right? That would be the elevation. Think about how the hair lives. If I move this way, it's over-directed. So I'm going to elevate and over-direct. And then I'm going to give you the technique. There's my guide. So watch. I'm going to leave the guide, and then this side, I'm just going to tuck it. Just so I don't happen to pick it up. Guide there, right? Chilling. Let him have a party by himself. Now I'll take this section. Gonna comb that guy together, and now I'm gonna over direct to the front. Then my elevation kicks in. So there's my section in. Here's my over direction, and now my elevation up, over. I'm sliding till I get, there's my guide. No? Yes. See him right there, my little guide? Watch. Now my technique, as I hold this section, is to come in from the underneath. Watch. The inside of the shear takes and creates texture, and the tip takes the length. So you can see when I release that section, you're getting the degree of shortness, but you're also kind of almost cutting it in points, out cutting. As I work, I'm just sliding my way out so that line works out. Now I'll over direct every bit. And because this is such a big section, I'll just, at the parietal, I'll subdivide that guy so that I have control. And also it leaves that corner so I'm not cutting that huge section. So again, I'm over directing everything to that original point, and then I'm gonna elevate my section across. So again, sections gathered, up, over, section across. Any questions, Giggles?
Not yet, just a little haze.
There we are, and now again, we're just gonna outcut working to that perimeter. Last bit. Just gonna condense that section up and just check. That it comes over. And now because I've tucked it, I don't have to worry about accidentally grabbing some of that hair from the other side. Now just gather that hair in, again, together. There you can see where my guide is, and you can already start to see that diagonal line that I've created. Now that section together. Now I get my elevation in. And now I'm just going to slide and make sure there's none that I miss. And there's a little right there. So now watch, when that guy comes back around and we comb him in place, watch our line. Just a soft curvature sitting right around the face. Nice curved line, and maintain that corner. And then it's soft because of the technique. Last section, and then we cut the length. That's the only part she cares about. It's the length. She's like, you can shave the top, I don't care.
We have a question.
Yo.
Can you show that one more time?
Yeah, what, the whole deal? Or what it looks like?
Did not specify, so maybe.
Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like first. So you can see as we work short to long inside of that corner, all the way to that perimeter. Now again, we're going to bring the perimeter up. So how do we do it?
The technique.
Yep. So we over direct that section forward. So I'll subdivide it so you can see. All that hair is going to be over directed forward. Once it's over directed, now that's natural fall for that section. That section now is going to be elevated up and over with over direction. So that way the line moves like this, shorter around her face and then gets longer into the length into the back. So I'm here. Once I lock that in, now my elevation comes over. Now I'm elevated and I'm in place, and I'll come in from the underneath, working out short to long. So again, because of the elevation, the line is softer. You can see if I pick that top bit up, and you can look at the increase, but look at the degree of softness here. You hold it low, it's a harder line. So what most people do is they lift the back, and then they hold the front low. So you got a soft line in the back because of the elevation, and a hard line in the front. It doesn't go together. That's why they're always like, this heavy side, it's so heavy, right? That's the reason why. But if I elevate it, and then I use over direction so that I maintain, as that guy moves short to long, now it fits.
She said, okay, got it, thanks.
You're very welcome. Now I'm moving to this side. A little less hair, so again, I'll use my insurance just to leave that guy out so I don't cut him off. Again, gonna over direct. My guide's already inside of the section. Gonna over direct that guy forward, and then once I get to where that hairline is, I'm gonna grab it. It's gonna come up and over. And we're cutting big sections because it's softer. If I wanted a very precise, hard line haircut, then I would take a lot of sections. Once I find that under bit, then I'm just going to work short to long. Woo. So now that the graduation is in, we're going to cut the perimeter. Oh, she's like, oh, I can feel her. She's sweating. She's sweating.
She's got some hair.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little hair, not a lot.
Definitely.
Just ate my cone, man. Gonna have to move in. Don't worry, I got another big sand.
There'll be a couple more
sand
by the
here.
end of the video.
Right, so again, you're gonna find center. And what I use is I'll use that bone right there in the back. People are like, well, what if they have scoliosis? If you got scoliosis, it's below there. It's not up there, right? So it could be that scoliosis, but it would be lower, all right? And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the high point of the head. Now our earrings eat this in here. There we go. Always check the earrings, because hair hides there, right? There it is, it's eating my hair. Move that hair forward. So check it out. Most people will take the hair into the perimeter and they'll turn their hand like this and cut a straight line. And if you clearly, I mean, this is like perimeter 101, check it out. If you notice, this hair moves and it lives in through the back, right? Which means if this hair lived naturally there, the shoulders move it back. So when the shoulders move it back, if you cut it here, you're gonna get a bit here that's a little longer if you were to literally measure it. What we want to do is, would you agree that that hair lives right there? So when I cut that section, now look at it. That hair doesn't look so over-directed. Yes, there are shoulders in the way, but the hair doesn't look so over-directed because it's more in the natural falling position versus standing at center back and bringing that hair back. You're basically cutting a slob, a super long bob, super long bob on everybody, right? So now that I'm within this section, and I've already graduated the hair, so people are like, why don't you pre-section it? Because when you think about it, a lot of this hair isn't going to reach where my perimeter is. So it's less hair to cut, which is easier for me to cut a cleaner line, right? So there's my section. And we're gonna cut that's about 3. We're going 3 first. I'd much rather come back and cut an extra inch than her crowd. So again, notice my finger position matches the head while I'm cutting that bit right there, just into natural fall. Nice and clean, right? And now we'll just move into this side. So again, high point, we're just going to continue that high point down. So natural falling position. And now what I'll do is I'll borrow a bit from the side that I already cut, just a bit. And I'm going to use the longest bit that I see. So if you really look at it, when I comb that down, you can see right there's a little shorter and then it gets a little longer. That's because I moved it from where it lives. So I'm going to use the longer bit to cut it. Right? Right there, longer bit, horizontal, and now we're just cut that perimeter. Now again, using finger position to match. My finger position is matching the head for me. Boom. Now we'll turn her to this side. And again, I'm going to borrow a bit from what I just cut. We're going to comb that guy into natural fall. So notice her head position is like this. So that's how I want to cut it. I don't want to pull this guy back. Make that front longer. So just move that guy away. Okay. Now again, I'm following where that hair naturally lives. I'm just checking that front just a bit. Wah! Wah! And again, borrowing a bit from what we cut to the back. And if you notice, I'm not cutting much off the front, which is a good thing. That means I didn't cut all that corner off. So there it is, natural. That's where the head naturally lives, right there, boom. Right? So I'm just following that guy naturally down, 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 down. I have my little guide from the back, and it's just bloop, that guy to the front. Then what I'll do is I'll check the perimeter on my graduation. So I'll comb all that up so you can see right into here. I'm just gonna come through. Now, I can come and upcut. People like to do that, but for me, I like to just come through and just kind of skim that perimeter line so that I can get the hairs, but I still leave it a little soft. And then I like to start bottom, and then I'll just kind of work my way up. Right, so I want to soften just that, just a little bit, right there, boom. So I'm just kind of chewing on it. As I work through. It just softens that guy up. And then for me, because it's a deep part, I always like to kind of just skim just this front bit, just to give it just a little action. So it's a little, see how that's just a little softer, right? And it matches that side, because there's less hair over here. Just trying to make it match. So, boom. Perimeter is in. Now for the blow dry. So what we'll do is, I'll show you what I'm going to prep her with. I'm going to blow her dry and curl her. And then what I'll do is I'll comment with a picture of the after results. Front, back, sides, all that good stuff. First thing first, Reckon Diamond Oil. Boom, blow dry oil. Speeding up the blow dry, but also it's like an oil-based primer to help the other products I'm going to use. Right, so I'm not so much going to work the interior or the scalp of the hair. I'm going to keep the product more to the outside and then on the surface. For me, I like to give the hair a little body, and so, you know, I want to put it in at the scalp last, first. People put it on, and then they go into the scalp first, and then they wonder why the scalp's so oily. So you want it to the ends first. So again, as I just touch it, you can see how that hair moves and has life. That's the elevation to create the softness and that super soft, textury, piecey silhouette. Then the next product I'm going to use is High Rise Dual Volumizer, 2-in-1. So when it comes out, it's like, ooh, fancy, fancy. So this one is the opposite. I'll start it at the roots and work it down, but avoid the ends because it's just long hair. So again, I keep the product to my fingertips. Then when I run out of product, I just touchy. Just continue to work that guy in. Getting in all the bits where I know I want the volume. Woo! Yeah, come on. Last but not least, this is great on dry hair, but I like it on wet hair because it's light. It's Outshine. It's an anti-frizz polishing milk. It's like my secret weapon. So I use 2 pumps, and then I'm just going to work the ends. Because it's a control of 1, it's really lightweight. So just working through those bits, like framing that hairline, like on those little bits there as well, and just working that guy through. And then always, like magic trick of all, once you get the product in, like a good comb to help even the distribution of the product, just a good comb, man.
Blow dry hair over here.
No, I'm gonna blow dryer my station with my new Sambia Art Series blow dryer. Thanks, Sam. Just because of the tools and being able. And so again, guys, what I'll do is I'll do this. I'll blow her dry, and then we can pick up with the curling iron like before I like finish her off. If I'm gonna finish her with a little bit, but I'm just gonna wrap it dry and just smooth it under. Nothing fancy. Little bump here. But no cutty. And then I'll come back to you right where we're at and let you see where we are before we curl it. Well, another live video, long hair. We did this video because you asked. If you need more videos and you want to learn more, message me, comment below. We'd be happy to do it. We got our setup here at the salon. She's actually a client, and she was so willing. So if you can, everyone, give it up for Brittany. Yay! I can hear you clapping. I hear it. It's a standing ovation. Amazing. See you guys in a few. Holla.